On the Epstein files, does the new investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files?
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
President Trump says that he relied on his tariff policies to make all of this happen. In October, tariffs brought in $33 billion. That's a 316% increase from October of 2024.
In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible these last few days. Our partnership will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times.
But the Bureau's job is not done. I'm committed to this transparency. Mr. Chairman, you alluded to our work with Congress. To date, in the 7 months that I've been FBI director, we have produced 33,000 pages to the United States Congress, 33,000 pages. Just to put that in perspective, my predecessor in his 7-year term issued 13,000 pages to Congress, and his predecessor in his 4-year term issued 3,000 pages to Congress. I've issued 33,000 pages in 7 months, and we're going to keep going. Cellular analysis systems are the best in the world, and that's what the FBI does, and that's what we flew in and did. That's how we led the manhunt and got him in 33 short hours.
And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period.
Once again, my name is Art Del Cueto. I am a Vice President with the National Border Patrol Council. And I want everybody to take the time to understand what's going on. We are all affected by this shutdown. We have skin in the game. However, it comes down to border security. And we are extremely grateful to President Trump, and we fully support what he is doing to take care of our nation's borders, to take care of the future of this United States. It has nothing to do with political parties. You all gotta ask yourself this question. If I come to your home, do you want me to knock on the front door, or do you want me to climb through that window? We fully support the president and all his efforts to secure our nation's borders.
Yeah, Jerika, actually just in the past few minutes, we just got the release from the House Oversight Committee of 33,000 pages of documents related to the Epstein files. These were released by the DOJ, and the Oversight Committee has their hands on them, and they are combing through, as will our gracious team of reporters back in our Washington bureau, combing through all of these documents to see what they say. Now,
it wasn't just Trump returning to work today. Congress also returned from their summer break, and their first move was to vote to release the so-called Epstein files.
I think we follow the truth where it leads. I think that's the responsibility of Congress. I think we owe that to the victims, and if there are further prosecutions, then they need to be brought. No stone unturned.
In total, 33,000 pages of files were released by Congress, many of which were already public.
People want these files released. I mean, look, it's not the biggest issue in the country. It's taxes, jobs, the economy. Those are always the big issues. But you really can't solve any of that if this place is corrupt.
Congressional lawmakers are also working on legislation to force more information to be made public. Of course, Fox 17 News has been tracking the push for additional information to be released in the Epstein case for months now.
There may not be much of a holiday weekend for many people at the Justice Department. Presumably, they are furiously going through the Epstein files.
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
Attorney General Pam Bondi says she will comply with the law, including the new one passed just last week requiring her department to release all it has on Jeffrey Epstein, the late financier accused of trafficking women and abusing girls. Epstein had plenty of high-profile friends, including former President Clinton and at one time President Trump, who said he cut off Epstein years ago.
I think we are going to get a lot.
Legal experts expect to see quite a bit.
My hope and my expectation is that the Justice Department will err on the side of transparency. These are documents that everyone wants to see.
And what so many want to see is whether other big names are implicated in Epstein's misdeeds.
This is obviously sensitive stuff.
But lawyers caution there will be redactions.
I don't know if we're going to see a smoking gun. There's going to be a lot for amateur sleuths to poke through about flight logs and whatever else. But we will eventually see this report.
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files.
There has already been political fallout, including the big split between one-time allies, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, and President Trump, who initially had fought the release before backing it. Those pushing for more disclosures plan to follow this through.
Anyone who's involved in any kind of cover-up is going to be subject to criminal prosecution.
And because there can be redactions to these documents to protect either victims or ongoing investigations, this may come to a larger debate over what's not released next month.
Thank you, President. We really appreciate all the support that you've given the Border Patrol. We appreciate the support that you've given ICE. My name is Brandon Jett. I'm the president of the National Border Patrol Council. I've been a Border Patrol agent for 21 years. I can personally tell you from the work that I have done on the southwest border that physical barriers, that walls actually work. You hear a lot of talk from the expert that there are experts that say that walls don't work. I promise you that if you interview Border Patrol agents, they will tell you that walls work. I worked in Naco, Arizona for 10 years. We didn't have physical barriers in Naco, and illegal immigration and drug smuggling was absolutely out of control. We built those walls, those physical barriers, and illegal immigration dropped exponentially. Anywhere that you look where we have built walls, they have worked. They have been an absolute necessity for Border Patrol agents in securing the border. We need those physical barriers, and we appreciate President Trump and all of his efforts in getting us those physical barriers. There's also a lot of talk on this shutdown that federal employees do not agree with the shutdown. I will tell you that's not true. And with that, I'd like to introduce Art Del Cueto. He is the Vice President of the National Border Patrol Council. He's also a longtime Border Patrol agent out of the Tucson sector, and he'd like to say a few words about the shutdown.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
We'll jump away for a moment, continue to monitor that, but the president making an appearance, a rare one at that, in the briefing room. Yeah, his first one. He said, congratulating Nancy Pelosi on being elected Speaker of the House of Representatives once again. Said they hopefully will work together, mentioned infrastructure among other things that Democrats and the president could work on. He also, as you see now, which carries on, comments from members of ICE and the Border Patrol who are commenting about the southern border. This government shutdown now in its 13th day. The president holding strong there, continuing to advocate his position for the border wall, saying he has tremendous support for it. John Harwood standing by. John, it's pretty clear by bringing these folks up, the president's trying to humanize this issue, if you will, from people who are down on the border trying to protect it.
He is trying to do that. Unfortunately for him so far, the president has not gotten significant public support for a wall. Majorities have consistently told pollsters that they oppose building a wall. The Republican-controlled Congress over the last 2 years did not pass money for a border wall. The president did some prototypes, and there was money for refurbishing existing fences, but they haven't produced any money for a new border wall, and it is even less likely that that happens under a House of Representatives controlled by Nancy Pelosi. So